In 2007, Ben Armstrong was in a coma for 3 days after a drug overdose. When he woke up, he was a 25-year-old addict with no future. By 2022, he owned a $350,000 Lamborghini, had $5 million in real estate, and commanded an audience of over 3 million followers across social media. His YouTube channel, BitBoy Crypto, was the largest crypto media brand in the world. He was charging $40,000 per video promotion and living a life most people only dream about. Then it all came crashing down. This is the story of how Ben Armstrong turned his darkest moments into a multi-million-dollar media empire, and how greed, addiction, and controversy destroyed everything he built. Ben Armstrong was born on October 27, 1982. His early life was turbulent. In his 20s, Armstrong struggled with severe drug addiction. For 7 years, drugs consumed his life. Every single day revolved around using. He later described feeling trapped in a cycle with no way out. Then, in 2007, everything nearly ended. Armstrong suffered a massive overdose that put him in a coma for 3 days. When he finally woke up, he realized he had a choice: keep going down this path and die, or get help and live. He chose life. Armstrong spent the next 2 years in intensive rehabilitation. 1 full year as an inpatient resident at a rehab facility, another year in an interim program. It was brutal. Recovery always is. But Armstrong committed himself to the process. And slowly, painfully, he turned his life around. After getting clean, Armstrong enrolled at Toccoa Falls College and later Kennesaw State University. He graduated in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in ministry leadership. He had found purpose. His mission, he said, was to help people the way others had helped him during his darkest days. Armstrong took a job as executive director at 3-Dimensional Life, a rehabilitation center in Atlanta. He understood addiction from the inside. He knew what it took to rebuild a life from nothing, and he dedicated himself to guiding others through that same journey. But Armstrong also had entrepreneurial instincts. He dabbled in various small businesses, graphic design, SEO services. He even ran a ticket reselling operation called Front Page Tickets, selling concert tickets on Craigslist using automated software. For payment on that software, Armstrong used something called Bitcoin. This was 2012. Bitcoin was trading at around $12 per coin. Armstrong purchased 0.5 Bitcoin for about $12.50 total. At the time, he thought Bitcoin was just digital gambling money. Nothing serious. But later that year, Armstrong decided to make his first real Bitcoin investment. He invested through a platform called BitInstant. Unfortunately, his investment was lost in the infamous Mt. Gox hack, one of the largest crypto disasters in history. Armstrong was frustrated, but didn't dwell on it. He had written Bitcoin off as a curiosity. Then in 2013, Bitcoin exploded. It went from $13 in January to over $1,000 by the end of the year. Armstrong watched in disbelief. If he had kept his Bitcoin and understood what he was holding, he could have been a millionaire. That realization changed everything. Armstrong became obsessed with understanding cryptocurrency. He studied blockchain technology. He learned about decentralization and how Bitcoin could transcend the traditional financial system. And he saw an opportunity. Crypto was confusing. Most people didn't understand it. But Armstrong could be the bridge. He could translate complex concepts into language regular people understood. He could build a community, and he could turn his experience into influence. In February 2018, Armstrong partnered with Timothy Shedd to launch BitBoy Crypto on YouTube. The goal was simple: educate people about cryptocurrency and help them become millionaires. The early videos were amateurish. Armstrong sitting in front of a webcam discussing crypto news and market trends. But the content resonated. People wanted guidance. They wanted someone who felt authentic. Someone who wasn't a Wall Street suit? Armstrong was relatable. He had struggled. He had overcome. And he believed crypto could change lives the way it had changed his. The channel grew slowly at first. But then 2020 happened. The COVID pandemic locked everyone at home. People had stimulus checks. Sports betting disappeared. And the crypto market exploded. Bitcoin surged from $7,000 in March 2020 to over $60,000 by 2021. Millions of people suddenly wanted to understand crypto. And BitBoy Crypto was there waiting. By early 2022, BitBoy Crypto had over 1.4 million subscribers. Armstrong was producing daily content, market analysis, coin reviews, interviews with blockchain founders. The channel was pulling in over 1.5 million watch hours per month. Armstrong became one of the most recognizable faces in crypto. But behind the educational facade, something darker was happening. Armstrong was charging massive fees for promotions. According to leaked documents, he charged $35,000 for a dedicated coin review, $40,000 for a YouTube interview, $20,000 for a livestream mention, $10,000 for a Telegram AMA. Projects desperate for attention paid these fees. And Armstrong gave them credibility through his platform. The problem was many of these projects were scams. In 2020, Armstrong promoted a project called Distix. He vouched for it as scam-proof. He told his audience it was safe. They invested. The developers used that investment to execute a rug pull, disappearing with the money and abandoning the project. Armstrong's followers lost everything. This became a pattern. Blockchain sleuth ZachXBT investigated and found that Armstrong had promoted numerous projects that either collapsed or turned out to be fraudulent. Many ended up with zero bidders or bids at less than 1% of their promoted value. Armstrong was using his influence to pump coins, collect massive fees, and his audience was left holding worthless bags. When YouTuber addict exposed these activities in a video, Armstrong sued him for defamation, claiming $75,000 in damages. The crypto community rallied behind addict. A trader named Kobe donated $100,000 to addict's legal defense. Armstrong eventually dropped the lawsuit, but the damage to his reputation was done. Behind the scenes, Armstrong's personal life was unraveling. Despite public claims of sobriety, former team members alleged he was abusing marijuana, alcohol, and steroids. His behavior became erratic, violent mood swings, emotional instability, mistreatment of staff. In August 2023, BJ Investment Holdings, the parent company of Hit Network, which controlled the BitBoy Crypto brand, made an announcement. They were removing Ben Armstrong from the company and the BitBoy Crypto brand. The reason cited was substance abuse relapse and the emotional, physical, and financial damage Armstrong had inflicted on employees. Armstrong was out. The brand he built was taken from him. Armstrong denied the allegations. He posted what he claimed were negative drug test results. He called it a corporate coup. He said they were trying to steal the company he built on his own identity. But the evidence was overwhelming, and his behavior became increasingly erratic. In September 2023, Armstrong was arrested after a confrontation with a former associate regarding an allegedly stolen Lamborghini. In October 2023, his wife Bethany filed for divorce, citing an extramarital affair with an associate named Cassandra Wolf. Forensic accountants were brought in to evaluate joint assets as divorce proceedings continued. Armstrong was also sued by investors in a class action lawsuit related to promoting FTX without disclosing compensation. During that lawsuit, court filings suggested Armstrong had issued threats against lawyers and mocked a federal judge by not appearing in court as ordered. By March 2025, Armstrong was in custody at Volusia County Branch Jail in Florida, facing felony charges. He had allegedly sent written threats to kill or injure Judge Kimberly Childs of Cobb County Superior Court. Each felony count carries 5 to 10 years in prison. His bail hearing was delayed pending psychiatric evaluation. Armstrong launched a new independent YouTube channel under his own name. As of 2025, it has under 200,000 subscribers, a fraction of what BitBoy once commanded. His credibility is shattered, his reputation destroyed. The empire built on helping people became a cautionary tale about greed, influence without restraint, and addiction that was never fully conquered. So what lessons can we learn from Ben Armstrong's rise and fall? First, turning personal experience into media and community works. Armstrong's story of overcoming addiction resonated. People trusted him because he seemed authentic. His early success proves that vulnerability and relatability can build massive audiences. Second, influence is a responsibility, not a license to exploit. Armstrong had a platform. He could have used it to genuinely educate. Instead, he monetized it through paid promotions that hurt his audience. Influence without ethics is just manipulation. Third, unresolved trauma and addiction don't disappear just because you get successful. Armstrong claimed he was sober, but former colleagues alleged ongoing substance abuse. Success can mask problems, but it doesn't solve them. And eventually, those problems resurface. Fourth, greed destroys everything. Armstrong was making $40,000 per video. He had millions in assets, but it wasn't enough. He kept taking money to promote questionable projects. That greed cost him his reputation, his marriage, his freedom, and ultimately his empire. And finally, leverage your experience, but stay true to your mission. Armstrong's story had power because it was real. But somewhere along the way, helping people became secondary to making money. When profit becomes the only goal, the mission dies. And when the mission dies, everything built on it collapses. Ben Armstrong turned his mistakes into a crypto empire. He proved that recovery is possible, that anyone can rebuild from rock bottom. But he also proved that success doesn't guarantee happiness, that wealth doesn't heal trauma, and that influence without integrity is a ticking time bomb. The man who turned his life around became a cautionary tale about what happens when you forget why you started. If there's one lesson from Ben Armstrong's story, it's this: your past doesn't define you, but neither does your success. What defines you is whether you stay true to the values that got you there. Armstrong forgot, and he lost everything.